In this session, we're going to talk about user management in WordPress, creating, editing, and deleting users. Right now, I'm on the General Settings page, and there's a checkbox here for anyone can register. And I have it turned off, which means the only way a new user can be created is if an administrator like myself creates that user. In the left nav, there's an entire menu dedicated to users. Let's click All Users. I'm the only one there right now. If you hover, you'll see that you can edit. If I had put my name in, you would see it here. There's my email address, my role, and how many posts I've made. Bulk actions are limited to delete, so you could delete a group of people, or you could change the role of a group of people. We'll go over roles here in a little bit. Let's take a look at the Add New option. I'm not actually going to create a new user. I'll use my own for editing later. You have to create a username. It's required, and you have to use a unique email address on this system, which means I couldn't create another username with the same email address I've already used. Those two and password are really the only things required to create a user, but the rest can be handy. First name and last name can get used when showing who wrote posts. A website, so if you have an author who actually has his own website somewhere else, you could put that in here. The password, you have to put it in twice, and it has a really excellent strength measurer. And optionally, I can have this password sent to the new user by email. So the new user would get an email saying, "Hi, welcome to WordPress. You may go here and you may log in with this username and password." And then we can choose the role. The roles available are subscriber, contributor, author, editor, and administrator. Let's swing over to the WordPress Codex real quick and see what those mean. There's a role called Super Admin, but it only applies to WordPress networks. Administrator is somebody who has access to all of the administrative features within a single site. An editor is somebody who can publish and manage posts, including the posts of other users. An author is someone who can publish and manage their own posts. A contributor is someone who can write and manage their own posts, but cannot publish them. And then a subscriber is someone who can only manage their profile. Subscribers can do practically nothing, but they can log in, which validates them as users. So you could actually set your comments settings so that only subscribers can comment. That way you know for sure who's commenting. Let's go to All Users. Now I could click Edit here, or because it's me, in the left I can choose Your Profile, or in the top right under Howdy Topher, I could click Edit My Profile also. All three of them go to the same place for me. If I wanted to edit someone besides me, then I could only go here and click Edit. There are some personal options that get added to this form now. I could choose to disable the visual editor when writing. That's TinyMCE. I don't want to do that. I can change the admin color scheme. Right now, it's the default, which actually is my favorite. But I could switch to light, or blue, or coffee, ectoplasm, midnight, ocean, and sunrise. We'll keep it at the default. You have the option to enable keyboard shortcuts for comment moderation and show toolbar when viewing the site. Then, this is pretty much the same form we had before. There are a few things added. One is nickname, and then we can choose to display name publicly as either of these two. If I put in my first name, make up a last name, I can choose to display it this way. There's my email address, my website, and then I can put in some biographical info about me. This may or may not be shown on the front end of the website. That depends entirely upon your theme. And then I could reset my password. Now, because I am the only user on this system, I cannot delete myself. If there were another user, then there would be a delete button right here next to Edit. Let's go ahead and create another user. I'm going to choose not to send this password, and I'm going to make this person an editor. And there we are. Now when I hover, there's Edit and Delete. Now I'm going to immediately delete this user, and this question comes up. What do we do with the content that this user created? Now in this case, the user didn't create any. But what if you had a user that had written a dozen blog posts, and you were going to delete that user? You can choose to delete all those posts, or attribute them to another user. There, now that user is deleted. If you're running your own blog, you're probably not going to have any other users. But if you're running a blog on which you have a number of authors, you may end up with a variety of people who are editors, some who are authors, and some who are contributors. And they will be logging in at different times from different places, and they will need access to different parts of the website. That's where you need to start thinking about roles. You don't want to give anyone any more privileges than they absolutely need. That helps with security. Not that the people you trust would break anything, but if their password were ever compromised, the hacker wouldn't have access to anything more than they do. So think carefully about how you manage your users and how you give them access to things.